Welcome back to the deep dive. Ever looked at your pedal board and thought, wow, that tiny empty spot, that's like the most valuable real estate I own?
Huh. Absolutely. If you've ever felt that, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Yeah, we're talking about getting the absolute most tone and efficiency when space is tight and you need real control.
Exactly. So our mission today, we're going to really unpack two standout pedals from MXR's current lineup. We're looking at the M299 Carbon Copy Mini, that's the analog delay, and the M228 Dynacomp Deluxe compressor.
Okay, and what's really interesting, I think, is how they blend the old and the new.
Right, precisely. MXR took these fundamentally vintage circuits people love, the BBD delay, the Dynacomp sound, and they added these really crucial practical upgrades. Basically, they fixed the stuff modern players didn't love about the original.
Addressing the pain points, yeah. Control and space save.
You got it. Those are the two holy grails for pedal boards today, pretty much.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Yeah.
Starting with the space issue. That has to be the M299 Carbon Copy Mini. The original Carbon Copy is, it's legendary, but it's not small.
Nope. Definitely takes up some room.
So the Mini packs that same sound, or claims to, into this tiny enclosure.
And it really does. It's quite impressive what they kept. The core is still that analog bucket brigade device, the BBD path.
That's the engine, yeah.
That's the engine, gives it that warm sort of magnetic tape-ish quality. And you still get delay times up to around 600 milliseconds, just like the original.
And that classic sound, that dark, mellow wash on the repeats.
The signature sound.
But, okay, that darkness, it's not just a flavor choice, is it? It's built into the BBD tech.
Yeah.
Can you remind us why analog delays get darker like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Gets right to the heart of it. The darkness is basically a necessary evil of the BBD design.
Okay.
See, BBDs pass the signal along a chain of capacitors, like a tiny bucket brigade, literally. But that process generates high-frequency noise, clock noise, kind of a whine or hiss.
Right. I've heard that on some older units.
Exactly. So to get rid of that noise, designers have to use pretty aggressive low-pass filtering. And that filter is what chops off the treble on each repeat.
Ah, so the filter creates the dark roll-off. It's musical, sure, but you lose clarity.
Precisely. It's a trade-off. You get warmth, but you sacrifice some high-end detail, especially as repeats stack up.
Which perfectly explains the key modern upgrade here, that bright switch.
Exactly. They didn't just shrink it. They gave you a way to kind of counteract the inherent BBD darkness.
So it boosts the highs, gives you more articulation.
Yeah, it adds some sparkle back in. It's interesting, right? Because if you buy an analog delay, you probably want some of that darkness.
Sure.
But, in a live mix or with cleaner guitar parts, sometimes those dark repeats just get lost. So the bright switch is like an EQ fix, lets you cut through when you need to.
So you get the analog vibe, but with an option for clearer repeats, almost like a digital delay in that sense.
Pretty much, yeah. Best of both worlds, potentially.
And you still get the standard controls, delay time, mix for wet dry, region for feedback.
All the essentials are there.
Yeah.
And it has that internal mod switch, too, for the tape echo kind of wobble.
Right, the modulation. Set and forget inside, though. No external knobs for speed or depth.
Correct. You flick the internal switch on or off. Speed and depth are set by internal trim pots if you really want to tweak, but it's not designed for on-the-fly changes.
Gotcha. So, usage-wise, what's it great for?
Oh, classic stuff. Slapback echo, absolutely. Rhythmic delays, those nice ambient washes. And yeah, if you crank the region, you can definitely get it to self-oscillate for those crazy sci-fi sounds.
So limitations are pretty clear then. It's analog through and through.
Yep.
No tap tempo, no presets, no external EQ control beyond that bright switch.
Exactly. If you need super long delay times or MIDI or lots of tweakability, you're looking elsewhere. This is about analog texture and saving space, first and foremost.
Okay, so space saved with the delay, but tone efficiency.
Yeah.
That's also about controlling your actual signal dynamics, right?
Absolutely. Which brings us nicely to the Dynacomp. The original is famous, but maybe infamous for its lack of nuance.
Right, the squish. Sometimes too much squish.
Exactly. Legendary squish. But it often came with noise and, well, not much control. The M228 Dynacomp Deluxe is all about keeping that character but fixing those problems.
And this started right at the core, didn't they?
Right.
This Deluxe uses that specific CA3080 metal can IC.
Deeply.
Why is that little can's so important?
Yeah, the CA3080. That choice is really key. See, compressors work by evening out your signal, right? Making quiet parts louder, loud parts quieter. But when they boost the quiet parts, they also boost any background noise. That's the dreaded compressor hiss.
Right.
The CA3080 IC, compared to like cheaper alternatives used in some clones or even earlier versions, it just performs better. It has faster response, tighter tolerances.
Meaning
less noise, basically. Better dynamic performance overall. So the hiss is much less noticeable, even when you crank the sensitivity or output. It's just fundamentally quieter.
That's a huge upgrade for modern players. So quieter bass performance, but then the controls, the original just had sensitivity and output.
That was it. Simple but limited.
The Deluxe adds 3 crucial knobs. Let's talk about the big one, the clean knob.
Ah, the clean blend.
Yeah.
That knob completely changes the game for a Dynacomp.
How so?
It lets you mix your original, dry, uncompressed guitar signal back in with a compressed signal. It's parallel compression right in the pedal.
Like a studio trick.
Exactly. So you get the sustain and the evenness from the compression, but you keep the feel, the punch, the dynamics of your original pick attack. It stops the pedal from feeling like it's just completely flattening your sound. Much more natural feeling.
That sounds incredibly useful. Then there's a tone knob.
Yep. Tone lets you shape the EQ of just the compressed signal. Make it brighter, make it darker, whatever fits your rig.
And finally, the attack switch. Fast and slow.
Critical switch, that one.
Yeah.
It really dictates the feel of the compression. Is it grabbing instantly or letting a little bit of the initial note through?
Okay, break that down for us. Fast versus slow attack. What's the practical difference for a player?
Okay, think of it like this. Slow attack. It waits just a tiny moment, like milliseconds, before clamping down.
Okay.
So the initial snap or pop of your pick hitting the string gets through before the compression kicks in. Preserves that transient. Gives you that classic vintage squish or bloom. Great for country chicken picking or clean funk rhythm.
Gotcha. And fast attack.
Fast attack clamps down immediately, like bam. No delay. This gives you maximum sustain, really smooths things out instantly. But the trade-off is it can soften your pick attack a bit, make it sound a little less punchy up front.
So it's a choice between preserving that initial hit versus getting maximum smoothness right away.
Exactly. And having that choice on a Dynacomp, that's the whole reason the Deluxe is going Deluxe. You can really tailor that vintage feel.
Makes sense. So how do people typically use this?
Well, you can still get that classic super squash sound. Crank the sensitivity, keep the clean blend low, maybe use the slow attack, instant funk machine. But if you want something more transparent, maybe just adding a bit of glue and sustain without sounding obviously compressed.
Yeah.
Then you dial the sensitivity back, bring that clean knob up quite a bit, maybe use the fast attack, adjust the tone to match your guitar. It becomes this subtle enhancer.
So it can be an obvious effect or almost invisible.
Totally. Works great before overdrive pedals too. Evens out your signal so your drives react more consistently.
Ah, good point.
Or just as a clean tone fattener, especially for single coils or maybe semi-hollows. And bass players love it too because that clean blend lets them keep their low-end punch while still getting compression.
Right. Standard compressors can really suck the life out of bass sometimes.
For sure. The clean blend is key there.
But unlike the Carbon Copy Mini, this one's a standard size pedal, right? No space saving here.
Nope, full size. That space is needed for those extra knobs and the switch. It's about control, not compactness.
Okay, let's put these two together then. Side by side, what's the summary?
All right, M299 Mini. Analog delay, mini footprint, key feature. That bright switch plus the modulation, best 4. Players tight on space who still want that true analog delay character.
And the M228 Deluxe.
M228 Deluxe. Compressor, standard size. Key features. That clean blend and the attack switch are huge. Best 4. Players who really want to sculpt their dynamics, get studio-style control, maybe tame their signal before hitting other effects.
And using them together. There's a pretty standard logic to placement, isn't there?
Really, yeah. The Dynacomp Deluxe, or really any compressor like it, you usually want that right up front. After your guitar, maybe after a wah, but before your overdrives.
Why is that?
Because your compression is about conditioning your core signal. You want to even out the dynamics before they hit your gain stages or modulation. Putting compression later, it can get noisy, mess with how your drives react.
Yeah.
You want to feed those pedals a nice, consistent signal.
Makes sense. Compress first. And the Carbon Copy Mini.
That goes later.
Yeah.
Much later. After your drives, maybe in the effects loop of your amp if you use amp distortion. Delay is a time-based spatial effect. You want to add that to your shaped, driven tone, not compress the repeats afterwards usually.
So the big picture here, Pairing these two gives you a pretty solid foundation, right? Modern takes on classics.
Yeah, I think so. You get that high-quality, adaptable analog delay texture from the Mini, solving the too dark issue with the bright switch. And you get a really versatile, quiet compressor with the Deluxe that fixes the control and noise issues of the original Dynacomp.
You're basically buying refinement, efficiency through smarter design.
Exactly. You get the soul of the originals, but tailored for modern needs space saving in one, deep control in the other.
So final advice. If space is absolutely your #1 enemy and you need a great analog delay.
It's got to be the Carbon Copy Mini. It delivers that core sound in a tiny box.
But if your main goal is shaping your fundamental tone, controlling dynamics before everything else, and you have the room,
then the Dynacomp Deluxe offers incredible value. That clean blend and attack switch give you so much nuance. It's a serious tone tool.
Okay, so this brings up kind of a final thought. We see this trend. Smaller pedals, more control. How far can they push analog BBD circuits specifically into tiny boxes before that inherent noise floor, the very thing they filter out, just becomes too much of a problem?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's physics versus practicality.
No.
At what point does making it smaller compromise the actual sound people want from analog? Where's that line?
Yeah. How small is too small before the trade-offs aren't worth it anymore?
Exactly. That's the puzzle MXR and everyone else is constantly wrestling with.
Definitely something to think about next time you're eyeing that tiny gap on your board. Thanks for diving deep with us today.